There's a lot of different types of roller coasters out there, and as thrill seekers, we tend to focus on the most extreme. However, sometimes the milder ones can be just as enjoyable. The family coaster genre, by nature, is meant to appeal to a wider audience. So maybe it's a lower height requirement, perhaps not as extreme elements, but what happens is because they don't go as tall or as fast as some of these crazier rides out there, they have to get a bit more creative. How can they please a larger audience while not taking riders up as high or as fast? And there's some pretty cool rides out there. So in today's video, I wanted to rank my 10 favorite family coasters. On this list, you'll see rides represented in America, Europe, as well as Japan. Obviously, I've not done all the family coasters out there. There's just too many, and there's a lot of great ones that I'd love to include maybe one day down the line when I get the chance to ride them. But already with the ones I'd been on, it was pretty tough coming up with 10 of the best. And really what I had to do was draw the line of what defines a family coaster. And I came up with 3 basic requirements. The first one is, I said it can't go faster than 40 miles an hour. 40 is a good speed that you can build up some momentum to go over a couple cool hills, but it's not too fast that it's too crazy. And 40 just seemed like a good number to make as a cutoff point. But unfortunately, there were a couple rides that just barely went over, hitting, 42 miles an hour or 43. And yeah, those rides won't be on this list. It's unfortunate, but I had to draw the line somewhere. The next requirement is that the ride cannot go upside down. Inversions tend to be for more thrilling rides, and because we want as many people to ride these as possible, no inversions. And then the final requirement I came up with is that it can't be above the thrill category on RCDB. If you're unfamiliar with the roller coaster database, it's a brilliant site that houses tons of information on every roller coaster you could possibly want, and they rank them based off of how crazy they are. The highest level is extreme, so none of the rides in the extreme category can qualify for this list. So most of the rides on here are in one of the 2 middle categories, family or thrill. So you won't find any kids coasters on here. Really the point of this is to find the best rides They'll satisfy the kids as well as entertain the thrill seekers, every member of the family. So that all being said, let's kick things off with FIRECHASER Express at Dollywood. And this is a really well-rounded family coaster. Not only is it a terrain coaster, but it features a variety of different elements. We have 2 launches, one of them being backwards, and a lift hill. That lift can appear kind of tall, but all of the drops on here are pretty mild and it's well themed to firefighters. And so right before you launch backwards, you hear audio of Big Bertha's gonna blow, and then a big firework goes off, and that's what sends you backwards to complete the ride. It's a very creative coaster built by Gerstlauer and always a fun one to do when visiting Dollywood. Next up is a mock ride spinning coaster called COBRA'S Curse. It's located at BUSCH Gardens, Tampa, and it's one of the only ones that does not spin the entire time. If you kind of separate the ride into thirds, the first third you're facing forwards, the middle third you're backwards, and then the last third you're spinning. Like FIRECHASER Express, this one features some pretty cool theming. In this case, there is a giant cobra statue that you come face to fang with right before you go over that main drop. But even though it goes backwards and spins a little, it is never too crazy. It's a perfect fit for BUSCH Gardens Tampa, really complements the rest of their rides. Number 8 is one of the stranger rides on this list. This is Lost Coaster of Superstition Mountain at Indiana Beach. This is an extremely compact ride, smushed in where a dark ride used to be. You can ride forwards or backwards, and all the turns here are really sharp. It's a really cool and wacky ride, and yet another one that the thrill seekers will be able to enjoy as well as kids, but definitely a little odd. Number 7 is another wind coaster, this one by the Gravity Group, and is Kentucky Flyer at Kentucky Kingdom. Gravity Group has really mastered the genre of the family wind coaster, and there's several of them out there, including Rorosaurus, Oscar's Wacky Taxi, Wind Warrior, but the one I decided to put on this list was Kentucky Flyer, which I believe is the best of the ones that I have experienced. What I like about Kentucky Flyer, it's a simple layout, just goes out and comes back. Great introductory ride for airtime, and because of those Timberliner trains, it can have a really low height requirement, and when your max height is just over 40 feet, I mean, it really is amazing what Gravity Group was able to do with so many limiting factors. In my opinion, a Gravity Group wind coaster is one of the absolute best ways a park can add a good family coaster to their lineup. But at the number 6 spot, we have a very well-known attraction. This is Space Mountain at Disneyland. And for the sake of this video, I am also including the one at Tokyo Disneyland. Since they are almost identical, I am not, however, including the one at Magic Kingdom. That was built by a different manufacturer. In my opinion, it is not that good. But I think the one at Tokyo Disneyland and Disneyland in Anaheim are quite enjoyable. The ride takes place in absolute pitch darkness. You cannot see a thing. You really do feel like you're flying through outer space, and it comes with different settings where you can do it as Hyperspace Mountain or Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy. I've had the opportunity to experience both of those versions and also thought they were both very fun. And because it's located at a Disney park, which naturally has a very large audience, you get a lot of kids that'll come, and this will be one of their first major roller coasters. It's definitely a great one to start off with. Now that we're in the top 5, let's head to Germany for Arthur the ride at Europa Park. This is one of the most innovative coaster concepts I've ever seen. It's by Mach Rides, and they really blend the line between dark ride and roller coaster by having these rotating seats, so you can pass by show scenes. The vehicles will turn you to face a certain direction, and then you depart, head into an outdoor section, and it's really a story-driven experience. Granted, it is a powered coaster, so this is probably the least thrilling on this list, but I included it on here because it is so cool, and really anyone can ride this and have a great time. I was very impressed by this concept. I know there's one in Dubai at Motion Gate themed to How to Train Your Dragon. I'd love to see more of these pop up. At number 4, we have what I and many other people consider to be the best mine train in the world, and that is Colorado Adventure at Phantasialand, another great German family coaster. In this particular case, we have multiple lift hills, indoor and outdoor sections, and lots of theming. I was absolutely blown away by this mine train. Phantasialand is such an amazing park already that it's really cool how they're able to pack in such neat ride experiences in a dense amount of space. And in Colorado Adventure's case, I mean, it might not look like much, but I think you'll be quite surprised when you go and ride this. So now we're at our top 3. At number 3, we have Space Fantasy at Universal Studios Japan. This is an enclosed spinning coaster themed to outer space, and everything about this ride really blew me away. It's a long ride, has some really cool theming. You can't see a thing except for what they want to show you with different light up effects and storytelling moments. Definitely an impressive ride. It's a shame that this didn't get copied over to one of the American parks, because Universal really took that concept of a family spinning coaster to a whole new level, but not quite to the level that Phantasialand took WINJAS. I knew absolutely nothing about this ride before doing it, and if you know anything about WINJAS, you know that there are lots of really cool surprises, and so everything about this ride blew me away. First of all, it is actually 2 roller coasters, WINJAS Fear and Force, and yes, they are different. I'm not gonna spoil what the surprises are, because I think that if you are gonna go ride this, it is probably better that you know absolutely nothing, but just know that this ride is different, it is unconventional, but it's also great for families. It's doing something different that everyone will be able to enjoy. And all in all, I really wish I got to do this ride a couple more times because it is just so cool. Which brings us to our number 1 attraction, which I gotta admit, this one might be a bit unfair, but it is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios Florida. Now, the reason I say this is a bit unfair is because it almost is more dark ride than roller coaster, but it does technically count as a roller coaster. It takes place inside Gringotts Bank at Diagon Alley, so you enter that big building with the dragon over top, and the coaster takes you down into the vaults of Gringotts. You attempt to escape from Voldemort and Bellatrix, and like WINJAS, Escape from Gringotts has a couple tricks up its sleeve, but it's very well themed, and this is almost one of those rides that the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. It would have been nice if they included a couple more roller coaster sections. I think sometimes the ride does feel a little short, but as a whole, it's an amazing attraction, and in my opinion, it is the perfect ride to do with the whole family. So that is how I ranked my 10 favorite family coasters. Again, I really wish I could include more. I know there's so many cool ones out there. I know Parc Astérix has a really great one, same with Futurescope, and with more constantly getting built, there's definitely no shortage of great attractions that everyone can enjoy. And that was really what I tried to focus on this list, are what are the best attractions around the world that not only the thrill seekers can like, but also the kids. But I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite family coasters? Do you agree with the ones that I have included in this video? Do you think I left any out? Be sure to post all that down in the comments below, and of course make sure to stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.